And it's good that I double checked because my microphone was still off. Let me double check if the sound is working. Give me a few seconds. We are live. The battle gong has sounded already.
And it's good that I double checked
waiting
because
for...
my microphone was still off.
Let me double check if the sound is fine. There we are. Wow. It has been quite some time since I have done a live stream. I think it's over a month ago. Not without good reason, because of course it is holiday season. But mainly I've just been working really hard on getting some content ready for the community. And yeah, it is basically taking up loads and loads of my time. But a lot of good stuff is coming. And yeah, we had some pretty crazy volatility. And I thought, you know, as I've been, you know, focusing on creating all this content, you know, why not just hit that record button and just do a live stream, you know, because it's been a while. So in the coming hour or so, I will be, you know, hanging out with you guys, going over the price section and, well, hopefully providing some really good value for you all in this stream. As the title has been already saying, is there another crash incoming? Is Binance selling? Today, we're going to unravel all the mysteries on Bitcoin. However, as you might have already been aware of, personally, I don't really care about the news. So we are going to unravel this mystery by actually looking at the facts. And the only way that we can do that is look at the charts and look at what the data is telling us. In that way, we don't need the news, we don't need any FUD, we don't need any hype, we just need data and facts. And based off of that, we can formulate a trading plan and simply, well, profit from it. You know, that is the goal of being a trader. So yeah, it's been a while. Let me take a quick look at the chat as usual, as we get started and people are tuning in. We got Cyberposty, Far Cry, Namto, Donatas, Hasta la Vista, Barbie. Welcome everybody to the stream. Happy to see you guys again. Also seeing some familiar faces, so that is really, really nice to see. We got Docta Blocks as well. And so that is it so far as people are rolling in. Well, basically, what has happened on the Bitcoin chart? We have had crazy volatility. Personally, I have been not surprised about this at all. As a matter of fact, if you've been following me, neither probably should you have been. Because I did about a month ago, I think that was my last live stream. This was on the 6th of July, when we were literally tapping that $32,000 region once again. And I did a live stream publicly on YouTube going over that particular price action, you know, saying that, you know, if we get rejected from there, it's going to be probably very bearish price action. Now, on continuation of that, at this point in time, I still remained relatively bullish. However, because I did this live stream, the thought occurred to me to say to myself, hey, do you know what? How about, you know, maybe I'm getting a little bit too married to my bias and maybe I should take a more in-depth look into what the chart is actually providing us. Now, based off of that, I did a live stream where I updated my Elliott wave count. So this is the member portal in the Thrive Labs. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of videos. So on the website, you only see that I'm doing like these 3 times a week daily updates. But as a matter of fact, I'm doing actually a lot more than that. I'm doing a lots of bonus videos, just going over the live price action at the time. Amidst the volatility, guiding you through the price action. But the point that I'm trying to make here, this is on the July of 10th. So that is 4 days after I've done this public live stream, I actually came into the conclusion that I found it really difficult to create a bullish count out of this price action, despite the fact that we were actually tapping the highs at that moment in time. And by the way, I am aware that we have current volatility, and I'm definitely going to go over this. I'm going to be taking a look at order flow, and I'm going to guide you through this current price section and what I'm going to expect, right? But before we do need to build a little bit of context so that we know where we actually came from, and so that you have that understanding of why I'm thinking this way. That's why I always like to first look at the bigger picture, go over what has happened in the past, and based off of that, we can project that onto the future and make a solid trading plan. So coming off of that Elliott wave count, the final conclusion basically was me giving a discount. I gave multiple counts, variations on this one, and also a bullish count should this one be invalidated. However, from the get-go, I've already said from the beginning, this is my favorite count, where I kind of think that the high might be in and we might actually see a drop further to the downside with $28,000 as that first checkpoint, if not lower. The way that price progressed from there since then, now we all know that it played out picture perfect. Really, it really played out picture perfect. We even went a lot lower than I originally anticipated. However, my final target for that short trade was $24,000, and that has been hit. And why did we drop so hard? So just to give you, I have been saying weeks and weeks ongoing, where I've basically been saying the same thing. Going to keep this very simple right now. This is the latest update. This was done before the drop that we had on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Basically what I was saying time and time over again, this is just the latest post that I could find in the community about this, is exactly the same thing is happening over and over and over again. Massive longs keep opening up at every single support, which provide decent day trades, right? But give weak bounces. Until this stops, we will see lower prices. If shorts become too dominant, and then we might see a real reversal. Now, illustrating what I mean with that is that on every single drop, the entire market just seemed into a complete buy the dip mode, where on every small drop, even if it's 0.5%, literally tens, if not 20 plus million longs were opening on every single drop. Now this continued on for a good while, right? This continued on from, it started here, continued on here, and continued over that entire month eventually. Now, what do you think? How much liquidity has been built up since then? To me, it really is no surprise that if we drop, that we just smash through all the levels. And the result is over 1 billion worth of liquidations in the market in basically a 5-minute candle, which is, not gonna lie, pretty insane. But ladies and gentlemen, this is crypto, this is Bitcoin, and this is what Bitcoin can do if the beast awakens. So just as it can go up really fast, it can go down extremely fast as well. So there you have a little bit of the context as to my technical explanation, why we dropped in price and why I saw this coming for a long time. Now we have finally hit an area of interest where I am interested in taking long trades, because the way that I'm constructing the chart right now is as simple as it gets, really. For me personally, we are simply in a really big sideways range right now. So let me actually get onto the chart and show you some of my analysis that I've got ongoing right now. So essentially what I would be saying is we are at the moment currently in a really big sideways range. That is the way that I'm classing this right now, right? Where we had this bottom initially, then we had that top, and right now, as this time of creating this video, the low has been, in constructing, validating that channel so far. But is it over? That is probably the question, what makes you come here and why you might be interested to watch this video. But don't worry, we're gonna figure all of this out as we go along in the chart. So essentially what I would be saying, personally, I'm not super convinced yet if the low is currently in, and that does have to do with multiple factors. Locally, I do think we might see a little bit of a bounce, seeing higher prices first before we see another significant drop, but that has yet to play out, as we simply have been range bound for, well, since the drop really. Not much has happened on Bitcoin really. We have been focusing on some altcoins in the community, in the tribe, that has been pretty crazy. I will also show you that in a second, but let's stick with Bitcoin first. So what I want to do is simply zoom into the lower time frames. And what can we see here? As a matter of fact, I have an old channel that I found. You know, I usually like to flip through very old analysis a few times per year, usually per season or per quarter. And as we are now literally in the middle of the summer, and we had this big drop, what I did over the weekend was just flipping through some old charts, and I make a rule for myself to never remove channels, because they usually can come back later in time and remain well respected. One of these examples is the following channel. So let me hide the big one for a second and let me magically put on the smaller one. This is a channel that I've been trading extremely successfully. This was back in the beginning of May. So this was before, you know, I did the Discord community and everything. I was just trading on my own and just having fun with that. And I traded this extremely well, where we had really nice rotations, fake out to the downside, really well respected, you know, gave lots of trading opportunities. But now, as of today, look at the respect if you extrapolate this to currently. Even during the massive drop, we have seen crazy respect on this channel, where we first had our initial drop through that $28,000 levels. That personally was a big level for me, where I was interested initially. We did hover around it for a while, but didn't look great as the market structure remained bearish, and never really was interested in it long anyway. And there we had the drop, having a reaction from the top of this channel, mini bounce, and then boom, straight through the channel. Now, obviously, because of the so many longs getting liquidated, this candle has been absolutely massive. But since then, we have bounced, respecting that midline of the channel and the bottom line of this channel thus far. So that makes it very tradable, even though it's old analysis from months ago. And that is really nice. And I highly doubt that you will see this channel anywhere else. On top of that, we also have really nice confluence if we simply pull a Fibonacci level from where the actual impulse move based off of Elliott wave started for me, because basically what I'm saying is this is where a really big impulsive wave started, where we had that consolidation range, wave 1, wave 2, and this is where wave 3 actually started, right? So that is the reason why I'm pulling this Fibonacci from this pivot and not from this one. We do have our golden pocket really nicely lined up with that top of the channel. So ultimately, that is what I would like to see before we see another drop. That is my ideal scenario, where we would see either first a rotation up, right? Whether that is on the midline of the channel, also an area of interest for me because there's market structure over here. But it would be great if we do have aggressive shorts at the lows. I'll show you that in a second. It would make sense to grab that liquidity, bust through, fake out to the upside, get everybody bullish again, retracing this move a little bit further, and then have that continuation before we put in a much more significant low. Whether that is taking out this low once again or much lower remains yet to be seen. So that is overall what I'm looking for the week to come. Obviously, if we start losing this channel, then lower prices are to come, right? And at the moment, not going to lie, that is more probable because price does remain very weak in the way that it, and in the way that it creates its structure. We keep on seeing lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high at the moment, and currently range bound, but we haven't really reclaimed any real resistance whatsoever thus far. And at the moment, the probabilities are against a move up. So that's something to be aware of, even though I would like that. I'm not saying that it will. And at the moment, it is unlikely, but I would like to see that. Yeah, I think because simply the emotions will be running much higher overall. We do see people getting extremely bearish right now in the market. So it only makes sense to well, I would say to stop out these shorts first before we continue to the downside. So that is my overall plan. Now, there is something that I think is very important to be aware of. A few things to be aware of. I should stream more often, by the way, because I do notice that I have a lot to say and we have a lot to cover. So especially after such a big move, right? A lot of dynamics have changed now in the market. The market has changed from a very low liquidity period in time to massive volatility now. Only to right now remain, return back into some lower volatility period. But overall, what I would be saying, some things that you need to be aware of, in my opinion, are the following things. So let's stick with crypto first. So firstly, we do have the following going on. So this really massive drop has happened on derivatives and futures exchanges only. That means that we have this on the inverse perpetuals on BitGet, we have it on the normal perpetuals on BitGet and Bybit and Binance as well. We have this really big, massive takeout of these lows, right? As you can see, old chart. I'm not trading on Bybit anymore, actually, because BitGet is now my main exchange. But you can see that we did take out these lows over here, and then the normal perpetuals on BitGet once again. So you get the point by now, right? So we do have all these lows taken out. But what if we look now at the spot exchanges? Let's, for example, just take a look at Coinbase. There, we did not come anywhere near the lows at all yet, right? And that does provide us with a puzzle piece that we kind of need to solve here, that we kind of really need to solve here. I would say the biggest thing that we can see here is on the Bitstamp chart, where we literally haven't come anywhere near these lows at all, right? So that makes me kind of question, is the low actually in? Did we really take out all the liquidity yet? Or is there more downside to come? And if there is more downside to come, what are the chances that we're going to get a much larger drop than just taking out this low and then bounce, right? That is definitely something to be aware of. Because let's be honest, if we do start losing this low, really the next real support level, wow, very red today, by the way, overall in crypto, very red. Yeah, we do have some massive downside to come if we start losing this low and have some candle closes below this. Because really the first real support really comes in at $20,000, really. How do I know that, or how do I get to that conclusion? Well, very simple. Obviously, I have kind of removed and refreshed my chart, but now I need to find it back. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Confusing myself here. Right. So anyway, can't find it at the moment. Basically, what I'm saying is we do have a 618 lining up at that. If we simply take the entire move from the beginning of the move from November all the way to the high that we had on the 14th of July, if we simply pull a Fibonacci from low to high, then we have our golden pocket literally coming in at the $20,000 level. And we also have other levels lining up that I cannot find right now, but there is confluence at that level. And that really is going to be, in my opinion, the next stop if we start closing below this low, honestly. Because of the fact that there's just really not that much support over here at all during this rise, at all. So that is something you definitely need to be aware of. right? And that is on the Bitcoin thing. Now, sticking on the Bitcoin chart, let's have a look at the CME futures on Bitcoin. So there's a few things that you need to be aware of in addition to this. We do have a massive gap to the downside, also at $20,000, but at the same time, we also have a gap to the upside. I'm not really trading gaps per se. However, it would make sense to me, because this gap is closer, it would make sense to fill this one first before filling the next one. That is, an extra argument why I would prefer to see a rise in price first before another drop. And simply the low just simply doesn't really look that great. So to me, it really would make the most sense to at least test this low. Maybe we're going to have an SFP on this low, and then we have a really bullish reaction, checking out if there really is no more liquidity left over here. And then if we don't, then that could provide a really nice trading opportunity potentially. Not financial advice, just for educational purposes here, by the way. That could provide an opportunity. However, if we really start increasing in volume, dropping down, with loads and loads of shorts opening throughout the way, and we have a candle close below, no longs whatsoever coming into the market at all, trying to trade it back up, well, then really, I would say, big drop to come. Very big drop to come. And my estimation would be $20,000 at the very least, really. Again, never a certainty. Of course, I can be wrong, but at least I am prepared for anything that might happen. Now, to further enhance this thesis, let's also take a look at the traditional markets, with the ES being one of the more important ones, even though there's moderate to light correlation recently on these assets. Technical analysis, however, works extremely well. And, I think I've said this on a public live stream as well, where I would be saying that 46.25 is a massive line in the sand. If we start to reclaim that, then I kind of expect all-time highs on the S&P 500. However, as you can see, we tapped the level, just wicked through it, boom, got a really big rejection from there on out. Now on its way to fill the gap on the futures market. However, if you would look at the overall market, so at the big one, right, at the S&P, the actual S&P 500, we still also have a gap much lower at 39.71. So that's just something to be aware of. And I'm not saying that I'm ultra bearish trading right now, right here, getting into that short, trading for the $20,000, because in my opinion, we already had a significant drop in price. If you're looking for a swing trade short, I would say you're a little bit too late to get into that short right now, as we've already have seen a massive drop in the market. So yeah, I think it's a little bit too late. If we get a bounce first, that can provide new opportunities, but just shorting right here, right now, in my opinion, just doesn't really make any sense. Personally, I'm not looking to trade that at all. Lastly, the last asset that we need to cover is not quite unimportant. It's the dollar. The dollar has seen a significant strength recently in the market. Potentially starting to turn around the trend. That's something to be aware of. Currently, though, it is at resistance, where, I was looking at this at some sort of a downward sloping, descending triangle. That's the word I'm looking for. Where we had a really big fake out, then got back in, back tested it, and made a full rotation to that top. Now back testing that downward sloping trend line. If we start getting back above, then I would be looking for this level first, set at around 105 points and 106 points next. If we actually manage to reclaim that, then it is much more likely to say that this downtrend of the dollar currently has ended, and the retracement, right, this retracement, if you zoom out further, has been completed, and it's prone for more upside. And that is not good news for Bitcoin. However, at the moment, as of the time that we are looking at this, we can see that this level initially got really well respected, took out this high right now, and we are getting yet another reaction, even though we have seen quite some strength on the day, and Bitcoin pretty much not moving that much at all. And now we are starting to move on Bitcoin at the same time. So now we've covered all the markets, right? Now we've covered all the markets. So how about what is going on currently on Bitcoin? Shall we take a look at that right now? Because we are starting to see some volatility coming into the market right now. So we can start taking a quick look at it and to see if this is likely to break down or not. At the moment, it certainly does look like it. But let me just catch my breath for a second and simply take a sip of my water while I am reading through the chat. If you have any questions, please write them out. I'll be more than happy to, hang out with you guys afterwards and answer some of those questions. Can be anything, can be anything. So far the chat is relatively quiet still, so you know what, I'm just gonna continue on looking at Bitcoin, and let's take a look at the order flow. I just gave you the example on some of the updates that I've done in the tribe lately. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We saw, what I've been saying. If longs get way too aggressive, then it's much more likely we're gonna retrace at least the entire move, if not the drop lower down, and that is currently what we are seeing right now, because we have longs opening up, a lot of them. Well, not really that much compared to higher up, but for this range, I would say it's rather significant. We have seen longs remaining very aggressive, getting stopped out, aggressive, stopped out, aggressive, stopped out, and now here once again aggressive and stopped out. So yeah, that is pretty much what's going on currently. We also do have quite some significant shorts opening up here, and that makes me believe and think why I would prefer a rise in price first. However, at the moment, doesn't really look like that, is it? But we don't know yet. We don't know. So what am I looking for? Currently, we are simply here below the channel. Just quickly improvising here. We have this low over here that we could SFP, right? Before we get a bounce. If we don't get that, really not that much support below us. We do have a 618, but we don't really have anything lining up with that level. So it's not necessarily a level I'm going to be looking to aggressively long from here on out. Basically because of the fact that we just maintain that bearish market structure right now. As you can see, alarms popping off over here in the background of my room, and we are now breaching this low. So let's see if we can start capturing this low and see if we can actually get a bounce from here. I think that can be very educational, would be really great if that happens. Some people might say we have some bullish divergences. Well, yes, but we're very close to the low. So I think at the moment it's much more likely that we're going to take out this low at the very least. And what I want to see is I do want to see some significant volume. I preferably would like to see some shorts coming into there while as the longs are actually getting stopped out. Then I would like to see those longs getting trapped, and that might become a trading opportunity if given. But at the moment doesn't really look like anything of the sorts that is happening right now. So we just need to wait and see. What is going on over here. Yeah, that actually reminds me of something. While we wait for price to drop, right, and I will be continuing to give some live commentary. This is rare. We finally have some volatility live on stream, which is really great. But in the meantime, as we wait for this price to drop over here, or reclaim, right? So actually let me cover that part as well. So I'm only talking about another drop in price and taking out that low, but currently we are now below that channel. So in order for this bounce to become a valid bounce, what I first want to see is actually price getting back above this channel and then potentially reclaiming that and then putting in a higher high, and that would confirm at least locally the low. And as you can see, currently that's simply not happening at all. So the probabilities are the highest that we're going to test this low. Now let's see if we actually do get some volume coming in. Yes, we do, based off of longs actually getting stopped out. By the way, this is really nice because this is what I'm also doing in the community. If we have volatility, I'm just simply clicking the live button and I'm walking you through this price section. You know, this is stuff that happens every single day, and every situation is slightly different, right? So there's so much stuff to learn, and there's so much experience to be gotten from this. That is just useful to do this on at least on on a daily basis, or when we do have volatility at least, and approaching important levels. So that's basically what's going on a random day. Just another day in the office in the tribe. The moment we're still closed, but we will reopen again in the first or second week of September. Which actually reminds me, that's what I wanted to mention. I did create a cheat sheet because the most asked question that I literally have received over time is, hey Mike, how can I actually judge if a trend is healthy or not? That has obviously to do with market structure, something that you are, if you've been following me, is I hold that in very high regard. But volume is also extremely important, and I've created a really nice, handy-dandy cheat sheet for you to get simply just for free, because I just got so many questions from this, and I thought, let's just solve this issue once and for all, put everything into one sheet. And so that you are simply aware of, so that you can use it while price is volatile. If you want that, then go to the following website, which is called thrivelabs.fyi. Let me just write this out. All you just need to do is fill in your email address, and it will just so that it can be sent to you. Let me just write out the address. If you are interested in that, it's for free, no strings attached, just something that I decided to do. So yeah, I would say use it, grab the opportunity, and enjoy it, I would say. All right, so now price hanging below this channel. This is not very bullish. So at the moment, I would not be interested in a long trade at all whatsoever. Only if we start reclaiming this. And the same thing also happened here, by the way. So this is also for the members from the group that are currently watching. We were discussing what is happening with this low. Is this a valid swing failure pattern? Yes, initially it was, right? It's not the most pretty swing failure pattern. It's really not the most pretty one because, I see all these liquidity issues going on over here. We do actually have an increase in volume, but we don't really have any trapped shorts whatsoever. Instead, what happened, we just saw massive longs opening up, which is good for a swing failure pattern, but only on the condition if we actually have shorts trapped over here. And that never was the case. So that resulted in a nice bounce, which you could have scalped, right? Would have been a really nice scalp trade because, well, I would say we front ran that 618, indicating further weakness. And also on top of that, we never really reclaimed any of the market structure, and that would fully validate the actual swing failure setup. So if you get in really early, just be aware of that fact that it is a swing failure pattern type of trades are by definition very risky trades. And generally they kind of have a low probability to play out, right? But the reason why they're so popular and the reason why I love them so much is that the invalidation is extremely clear and given immediately, right? So you know exactly immediately where you're wrong, and that is worth putting some risk on if you are a risk taker in that sense, right? Now I don't really want to break open an entire topic on position sizing right now, so don't want to get into that too much right now, because then we will be sitting here till next week talking about this. But the point being is, if you've scalped this, I would say decent scalp trade. However, be aware of the fact that, not all the signs of a great swing failure pattern opportunity have been given while you can trade it. Be aware that you need to take profits quick as you are trading against the trend, and the swing failure pattern simply is not ideal. So if you've taken profits here around these highs, maybe you've been front run. In this case, definitely a possibility. Fair enough, that happens. Maybe you were not fast enough to actually take these profits or whatever. Fair enough, that happens in trading. But and then we never really managed to reclaim that market structure and in turn retrace the entire move. By now, stopping out all the shorts. Well, not all yet. Looks like people are desperately trying to long this at the moment. Also not good. So I would really like another drop to the downside first. I'm talking about immediately, right now, right? Or if we reclaim this channel, change that market structure, put in a new high, then we have at least changed this local market structure. But after that, we now have this new high to reclaim, these highs, and these highs, before I could actually be looking further up to have that rise in price that I've mentioned in the beginning of this stream, right? So those are all the steps that need to happen before I'm even open for higher prices. At the moment, none of this has been given yet. So let's see if we can actually, if we can observe this. By the way, if you're interested in the positions that I'm in, I have closed out of my entire short trade, I think a week ago, 1.5 weeks ago or something like that. And I have been, laddering down during the entire drop with preset limit orders during the drop all the way to $24,000. So at the moment, I am in quite a big swing potential long trade. But the risk is very, very calculated, and I remain open for lower prices. But I do see this as an opportunity. And if we get the increase in price, I'm going to have to monitor how price progresses there. And based off of that new data that comes in, I will make my decision on how I will manage my trade next. If I'm going to take profit or maybe even close out of the entire trade and actually short. That remains yet to be seen. But at the moment, I am in a long trade that I would like to be a swing trade. But at the moment, doesn't look too great. So maybe I will take a loss on this one. Maybe. Also happens. Regardless, I saw the opportunity as we dropped down, and my average entry is anyway somewhere around here. Can't remember exactly, but around that, somewhere at the lower end of the wick. So at the moment, I'm okay. I'm still in profits at the moment. But I wouldn't mind to take a loss on this trade. That just happens. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for you guys, by the way. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you have any questions. I see one question in the chat by Jason5. Do you have a trade signals group? Well, no. I do not have a trade signals group, but I do have a Discord group where I'm teaching you exactly what I'm explaining right now, and I do that on a daily basis, where I'm in a Discord community that is focused on applying all these theories that you might have learned on the internet, applying them actual in practice. Because reading a book or watching a course is great, right? Investing in education, I'm a really big advocate for it, right? Obviously. As a matter of fact, I am building courses actually so that you can learn from me directly, so that you can, learn my philosophy on how I'm trading. But ultimately, you do need to bring this into practice. And that is what the Discord community really is focused on. I'm also making it much more beginner friendly, so that it's also more welcoming for beginner traders. As currently it is more focused on intermediate levels, I would say, of trading. But we do have beginners in the group as well, and they are catching up fairly quickly. I'm taking my time always to answer every single question in detail. Because I like teaching. I really like teaching. So. And I like that sense of community that we have currently going on there. It's pretty great. People are very helpful. So big shout out to all of you guys if you're watching. Very, very, very nice to see. And even friendships are actually emerging from there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, conversation group. Well, it's really more like practical application. So if you have a trading idea and if you're putting it into practice, then you can share your ideas. And obviously, I'm going directly over the price section. So I am saying when I'm taking a long trade, I'm also disclosing, where I'm looking to trade it to and where I'm wrong. But the exact signal thing, I'm not doing. It's not that I'm posting enter here, stop loss there, target here. That's not what I'm doing, because I don't believe in that. It is more, you will not become a profitable trader from that. I'd rather, teach you how to fish than to just give you one. And that's the reason why I don't do signals. And if I were to do signals, then then the pricing would be significantly higher. But anyway, I will most likely never do that anyway, so I'm not interested in that. But I think this is way more valuable than actually getting signals, because you can learn how to do it yourself. Right, so just now, price is slowly but surely trying to reclaim this channel. Let's take a look at the order flow once again. Okay, so maybe in my hurry, I missed the fact that we are having some shorts in this candle over here. We have looks like we have about 5 to 6 million shorts. Could be nice for a squeeze. If now longs manages to push price up and actually trap them, then we could finally get to see that bounce that I really wanted to see. Shorting here at the moment is, in my opinion, not a great idea, because you are at support, right? Maybe price is bearish, maybe probabilities are down, but this is not a place where I would ever be interested in actually taking a new short. I first need to see an increase in price, then I might be interested in a short higher up. This is not the place to short. If anything, this is a place to potentially long, because we are at support ultimately. Wow. I've been talking for 47 minutes straight. I'm noticing that I missed doing these live streams. I'm gonna do more again. Let's take a quick look at the chat. Let's pop this out, and while price is making its progression, we'll keep an eye on it, and let's just see. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see what we got over here. Sound is working. Good day. All right. Don't really see any questions at the moment. Hopefully I didn't confuse you guys, or hopefully I did blow your mind, by the way, because trading is awesome. Like, this is what does get me up in the morning. But yeah, would be nice to actually have some questions to interact a little bit, if you want. If you don't, then fair enough, fine as well. But I do see a comment that I heavily support, which is where is it? We got 130-ish people watching, so hit those likes and subscribe button, guys. We only have a fraction of the amount of people in here actually liking the video. So help me out here. I'm giving out this information here live on stream, observing the live price action. A small favor that I want to ask you, just hit these likes button to help me out here, and spread the information to other people as well. I would be very grateful. Struggling over my words here. Much appreciated. All right. So I'm thinking, what should I talk about next? I do want to highlight something, though. I do want to highlight one thing. Also in a previous stream, also the last one, I got a little bit of heat for my opinion on the XRP chart. I said it's the most ugly chart of the world. It doesn't necessarily respect technicals very well, although the range that we've been in over the past few weeks kind of did, but ultimately everything that I said came to fruition. Let me show you. I said XRP is just like this pump and dump coin. So, and it kind of just really made me just chuckle a little bit to ultimately see exactly that happening, what I already anticipated on that coin, which is one of the reasons why I'm just not touching it at all. Let me find it. Let me find it and let me take a look at it. XRP. XRP. All right. So I did some TA because it was very highly requested. I didn't, if I remember correctly, I did a live stream where I asked like, hey, what altcoin should I chart, right? And because XRP was with this whole lawsuit, it was in the news and everything. It's like, all right, you know, the most requested chart literally of all time since I've been, you know, doing live streams and teaching, always XRP, XRP, XRP. And basically what I said is XRP usually just does this and then does this. And I've done this analysis when we were literally trading here. And I said we are at resistance, and I would not be surprised if we retrace the entire move. And now look at what happened. It retraced the entire move. So just make me laugh that in the end, even though people really hated on me for that, made me just chuckle like, okay, this is XRP. It's going to go down. The same as it did previously. Same as it did previously. Same as it did even in the beginning. And then, right? Well, this a little bit less, but you get the point. You get the point. Especially on the BTC pair. This is even bigger. I mean, look at that. Weep, whoop, weep, whoop. I mean, yeah, I'll leave it at that with XRP. To be honest, I'll leave it at that. So I'm not intending to trade this if ever. Even if it goes to the moon, I'm still not gonna be looking to trade. Just gonna skip this. I don't care. Right. Let's actually, because you know, the title currently is clickbaity, isn't it? Because I'm having in the title is Binance selling. So actually, let's take a look now that we're into this anyway. Let's just take a quick look while we are looking for Bitcoin to bounce. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just simply set an alert on BTC. And then if it pops, we're going to return back into Bitcoin. But in the meantime, we can just take a look at BNB. But I have to find it. Let's take a look at what it's doing. To be honest, I haven't looked at it at all. So we might as well find some very old analysis. Maybe an ancient channel as well. That doesn't look very accurate anymore. All right, so that is a long that I took in June 2022. So that's the last time I've traded this coin. So untouched for 1.5 years. You can see, untouched, along the retracement, was a really profitable trade, 30%. But hey, that's a year ago. Not gonna dwell on the past. Let's take a good look at the chart. Let's just remove this, and let me take a good look. Well, it definitely had its run for a retracement. That's one thing that's for sure. Let me also actually add the dollar pair, the USDT pair on this, and take a good look at it. Doesn't look great, to be honest. On the USDT pair, doesn't look great. I would say maybe SFP this low, coming in at 180. 180 is absolutely key level. Absolutely. If we lose that level, very likely we're going to see a really big drop on BNB. Really big drop. That is going to be a drop from there on out, I would say, to at least $41. So yeah, that is a really big drop, by the way. Not trying to spread any FUD here, just looking at the data. It is an 80% drop. Wow. Okay. That is definitely something to be aware of. That is something to be aware of. But as we are approaching the low and as we are having news, like really bearish news coming out, this could actually provide some great opportunity. What if we actually do something like this? Maybe stay below this for a while and then actually reclaim it. That would be really brilliant, wouldn't it? That would be a massive opportunity for a good bounce to the upside. I haven't really done even any technical analysis, but this is just literally what I'm seeing here. This is I don't even need to do technical analysis on this chart. You know, I would say 180 is, if we lose 180, BNB is most likely going to turn 180 degrees to the downside. I really do not need more technical analysis than that, really. And at the moment, I think the chances are very high that we are at least going to test this level. But it is a very crucial level due to the lack of support lower. This is the case on the USDT pair as well as on the BTC pair. However, let me just try and correlate it. What would an 80% drop look like? Wow. On Bitcoin, I would say, on the BTC pair, I would say this is the next support region coming in. Something you do want to be aware of. We'll set alerts here. Is this going to have like this massive impact on crypto as a whole? Well, I'm not so sure about that, to be fair. I mean, in the end, it's just running its own course. It's literally just running its own course. And just like it did in the past. So I would say I don't necessarily think it's heavily correlated per se. I think, you know, it's more like sell the rumor, buy the news, the event. Sorry, the opposite. Well, in this case, I would say sell the rumor, buy the news, maybe, or the. Yeah, I don't personally. I don't necessarily. I'm mixing up the quote, but you get the point, right? So I'm not necessarily thinking it is heavy correlation with Bitcoin. Of course, I could be wrong, but regardless of it, you don't need. Really don't need this reason at all. You really don't need it because just as everybody was just like scrambling to find a reason as to why we've had this drop, and only literally like 12 hours later, I saw the news articles coming out and the tweets coming out like, oh, Evergrande filed for bankruptcy and BlackRock ETF or whatever is not approved. Yeah, but that's after the fact. How is that going to help you make profits, right? I don't care what the news is, really. All I care about is that, you know, if price is dropping, all I care about is where's the next support. And even that didn't come as a surprise because literally I've been observing the price action for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks as we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of longs opening up in this super low volatility period. What can go wrong? What can go wrong? After a massive increase, you know, overall since January, right, of 100%, of 100% increase, and then we see. Let's be honest. Let's put things into perspective. If you're longing here, you're still longing. If you're longing for that, you know, for that really big increase, you're you're literally longing into resistance. You're longing into like the very late stage of an uptrend, right? You're longing into an extremely late stage of an uptrend, and over 1 billion worth of positions did so. What can go wrong? What can go wrong? To me, it's really not a surprise that we've had the drop that we've had. It was all in the charts months in advance, really, months in advance. So yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it's because of the news. It was all just already lining up. Maybe just the coming out of the news just gave the final push that actually made people sell and trigger all the liquidations, and that's why we ultimately dropped. The reason why we dropped so deep was because of so much liquidity to the downside. Now, most of this has been taken out, if not everything. The only thing that I don't like is this low yet, right? I don't like it yet because there's just a bit too much of a difference on the spot exchanges and on the derivatives. Originally, I was very interested in $24,000. Yes, I am in longs currently, but I'm not fully convinced that this is the low just yet. I would really like to see another test of the lows at the very least. If we get a bounce there, I'm more than happy to actually add more into the swing long trade. And, you know, if we don't, then, you know, I'm going to have to close it out for a loss. And that is the nature of trading. That is the nature of trading. So yeah, I am long at the moment, but I will not hesitate to close it out for a loss. You know, opportunity is opportunity. And I did take some profits off of this increase in price so that I can add it back on lower. So that is the way that I've managed it. But at the moment, feeling super ultra mega comfortable in my swing long? No, I'm not. But I'm not an emotional trader, so I'm just gonna stick with my plan. And if it's invalidated, it's invalidated. You know, calculated loss. Just gonna move on. I won't lose a night of sleep over it, and just simply move on to the next trade. No problem. No problem. Right, I think I'm starting to run out of things to say. Let me take another look, quick look at the chat. Right, so I do wanna, I see already in the chat, and also one thing that I forgot to mention is the altcoin that we have been trading has been BLZ, has been doing extremely well lately. Let me see. By the way, now that I'm live anyway, there is a big competition upcoming on the BitGet exchange in September. So if you want to already get prepared, and we are going to make a team with Thrive Labs, if you want to, by the time the tribe will be open again, so you can, you know, if you want to participate, then feel free to join the Discord and follow along. If you want to already get prepared for it, then click on the link that is in the description somewhere in this video. Set up your account and you will be good to go once the time is there. It's gonna be a nice competition, a good community event, and I will also do additional public things anyway. So I'm personally really looking forward to that competition. As I just simply didn't have too much time to trade the World Series of Trading, although I think I'm in, I don't know, I'm not first at the moment. I am in profits, but I'm not first because I haven't really actively traded the competition myself. And as I was busy trading my main accounts essentially in the meantime. But that I see it as a warming up for the BitGet competition. Gonna be a really good one. So I'm really looking forward to that one. When will more places be opening to your Discord? Yes, so expect September, the first or the second week, most likely. That is when we will be open again, and we will be open for a second round, and you can simply join. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Loads of new content coming out, and yeah, it's just gonna be pretty good quality, if I say so myself. I'm pretty proud on what I'm building in terms of content there. So I almost can't wait to show it to you all. But the time is not there yet. But it will be. All right, I was talking about BRZ. Sorry about this. Going a bit off topic. Let me check out BLZ. At the moment, yeah, BLZ. BLZ has been doing crazy well. Really well at the moment. This coin, for some reason, has attracted loads and loads and loads of volume. I don't really know what it's about, but it's just extremely volatile. And this, for me, I've been trading this a few days last week, and for me, it was a really fresh wind. I've been trading it overall profitable, but a little bit mixed. Made some losses, made some wins, but overall, I came out profitable on this coin. I'm not going to lie about that. But yeah, it's a really nice coin. And for me, that really gave a fresh wind, as always looking and focusing on Bitcoin alone. It was just a nice change of pace to also focus on a different kind of asset. And also to discover that technical analysis is just crazy well respected. I've done very detailed analysis in the group as I was been trading it in this range, and now we've come up to what I'm considering as one of the largest resistances of the chart. There are exchanges with more data, but I'm using the Bybit one currently. And for me, we have this weekly level going on over here, and we have swing failure that. If we manage to reclaim this level, I do think that this coin has quite some space to run really hard. Even though I'm saying this, I'm not intending you to make you buy this coin, by the way. So you do your own technical analysis and make sure that you have a plan ready, because I'm saying that this coin can run, right? But if it doesn't reclaim this weekly level, then downside to come. As simple as that. If we do, I would say support coming in around that POC. Actually, let me just check out if that changed, because I've left this chart alone for a while. No, stayed the same. Let me see. Yeah, so nothing changed. So overall, not gonna overcomplicate this. So these are my levels that I would say are the most important one. At 9 cents, 9.8 cents, so more or less 10 cents, and 14 cents. Those are the most important levels right now. Overall, it looks like we are maintaining bullish market structure currently after having this range, broken out of it, backtested it, SFP'd the high, now coming in for a retracement, and we're simply gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen next on this coin. Obviously, I do think if Bitcoin makes another really big drop, then usually altcoins follow along. I don't necessarily think that BLZ is an exception. Sometimes you have like this one single coin that does perform very differently. We had Link in the middle of the bear market embarking on a massive bull run out of nowhere. Maybe BLZ is another one like that, but I'm not a trader like that. I don't trade for that. I simply trade the technicals. And for me, it's just simply going to be very simple. Reclaim this, higher prices to come. Until then, this is support. Lose this, well, then we have the potential of retracing this entire move, which has been over 100%. Just keeping it down to earth, level-headed, and not going to expect the world from any kind of altcoin. Can it pump like 1,000%? Yes, it can. One example that I had, it was TEL back in the day. And let me share that with you. Was TEL. That brings back memories where I closed out way too early out of my trade. I think this is old analysis still. Yeah, so you see this whole bunch of analysis going on here. This is where I longed TEL at the very bottom. Great trade. Really great trade. I took profits here, 80%. Then I closed out of my entire trade here. And keep in mind, this was already a massive trade, by the way. This was already a massive trade. Like crazy trade. But then it did this. Did I miss out on this move? Sure did. But am I disappointed about it? Well, at least I can say to myself, I traded it very technical and I took profits where I was supposed to do this. this is like this one in a million chance that this one single altcoin that you're trading is gonna do something like this. In this case, it did, and I missed out on the entire move, but I profited from it already anyway, and I traded it very technical. So that is what I will remember from this trade. I will not remember the fact that I potentially lost out on a lots of profits, because for the same goes, you could have done this and then you could have done this, even though that would have been below zero, but you get the point. Dun, dun, dun. So I think, let me see. Okay, I think I'm like ultra clear on this stream. I don't really see so much questions coming in. Okay, so I think let's take a quick look at Bitcoin doing nothing as usual during stream. So we had a mini drop, but no reaction thus far. Changing very little at the moment. So I think I'm gonna work out the. I'm gonna finish up the stream by doing a quick summary. For Bitcoin, I'm undecided whether the low is in right now. My current short-term bias is as follows. Let me switch to the right chart. My current short-term bias is as follows. What I would like to happen is to see an increase in price, preferably towards that $27,000, $28,000 again, before we see a significant drop. At the moment, the probability is low, as we have not reclaimed any single resistance as of yet, maintaining high time frame, mid-term time frame, and low-term time frame bearish market structure. So the probabilities are against longs at the moment, but this is what I would prefer to happen, where I would be interested to potentially take profits on my swing trade and flip short. Or if we do see a sign of strength, we can simply trade it back up to higher levels again, and that would increase the probability of this being the low. At the moment, I'm not very convinced that this is the final low just yet. I'm not expecting this to happen. I said this also on Friday in the tribe. I'm not expecting this to happen the next day. More likely to actually put in a range, which is exactly what we're doing right now, before we are going to make a further progression of the chart, whether that is going to the upside first or to the downside first. At the moment really is 50-50. So all we can do for the day trading part is simply trading this range, long at the bottom, short at the top, right? You can even subdivide it like this, and simply trade it until the range breaks, after which we can start looking for the bigger levels. Final support, ultimately outside of this range, really is the 618. There's a lack of confluence. It's not very strong support, but there is a level there. It's not the best level at the moment. There's very little confluence, but it would line up with a nice SFP of this low before we have a bounce. So that is something that I would be looking for. And the same thing is if we get that increase in price for the midline of the channel first, before looking for this or this level. And with that, that is pretty much my trading plan, pretty much going onwards. You have the full story here, full transparency. This is not meant to give you any kind of financial advice, just for educational purposes. Hope you are fully aware and use this opportunity to get a little bit of in my head, get an insight on how I think, especially after such a big volatility move, and not getting the emotions get the better of me, but actually focus on the data that's being presented for itself, not looking for reasons why something has happened, but instead looking at the actual facts, thinking in probabilities, thinking in percentages in terms of trading. I'm not thinking about, how much thousands or tens of thousands of dollars I'm going to make from this trade. No, I'm only thinking in percentages, and that keeps me completely, the emotions, I will do that outside of trading, right? I'm a very happy and positive person in general. That is where my emotions, in social circles, that's where I can let my emotions, manifest itself, or in the casino, for example. Not in trading. In trading, this is a career path. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm also trying to teach. And if you like what I'm saying, and if you want to learn this as well, I'm more than happy to take you under my wing, become your coach. So, having all of that said, hope you're fully aware now on what I expect on Bitcoin. Give you some information on what you can look for as well. Maybe you can even copy some of my charts that I did here so that you can practice. And with that, I think we have a great ending to the stream. And all that's left to say is have a great week ahead and see you in the next stream. Cheers, everybody. Bye.